let's talk about why journalism. And I ask that question because, as you'll be aware, there's been a general trend increasing in the last few years, both for many media organizations to decline or even close, and also a broader trend for people, perhaps notably younger people, to disengage with news or to get their information from different sources, notably through social media and through the filter, if you like, often of influencers. And of course, the concern with that is there's a shift from organizations and individuals who spend their lives having direct access to people, observing facts and interpreting and verifying their quality, towards third parties taking information, often from sources that aren't verified, and spinning it in particular ways, often with a commercial agenda. So I fundamentally believe that high quality journalism remains a real pillar of democracy and insight, and it's something that we need to struggle to help to support going forwards. I think it plays a real role in driving accountability and holding power to account, whether amongst politicians and governments or companies, for example. It can help, of course, to inform, to educate, to push back, to supplement insights that you get from elsewhere, and also, of course, to entertain.
The Free FT for Schools program works with various educators and experts around the world to provide free content for students that maps in many different subjects the curriculum to articles, so that if you are in a TOK class and you're exploring, for example, a certain area of knowledge or a particular way of knowing, you can look up at the page of the Financial Times and find some articles that are talking about this particular topic. The same goes with history or geography or economics. So you can find links to your syllabus content. And this is extremely useful, not just because you're enhancing your understanding of the world and you get a better idea of what's going on, but also because as you read through the articles, you're actively applying the knowledge, the theoretical knowledge that you've gained.
Students around the world have been looking for all kinds of interesting things to do in high school as they think about applying to and gaining admission to these world's top universities, whether it be in the US or the UK. But actually, this competition is an incredibly unique way for you to show your skills as a potential future journalist and really show your editorial skills and also your ability to sift through information, facts, and make arguments. The Financial Times Essay Competition is totally unique in that it actually enables you to experience what it may be like to write as a journalist, to engage with previously written articles from one of the world's leading newspapers, and then form your own opinions, construct your own arguments as well. And then finally, of course, a mind-blowing opportunity here to potentially get published by the Financial Times if you're able to really produce a piece of writing that's world-class. And that's the kind of exposure that can really be defining for a young person's career, certainly for their college applications, but also as something you could show future employers on your resume and beyond.
My name is George. I'm the president of Crimson Global Foundation. The theme of this competition is around conflict. Now, we live in an era of continuous conflict, whether that's the Russian-Ukrainian war, or whether that's Israel and Gaza. We live in a world where we have a lot of geopolitical conflict at the moment, but there's other sorts of conflict as well. There's economic conflict with trade barriers and trade wars happening. There's social-cultural conflict. There's corporation stakeholder conflict. And of course, you can see combinations of the above manifesting in every single country around the world. So you are now an FT columnist and you need to write an article about this theme. We want to emphasize here that in order to ask them, you need to have, of course, registered for the Free for Schools program first. The eligibility criteria, as Jamie said, if you're currently a high school student, I know some high school students are also 14 years old. As long as you're enrolled in high school, you're eligible to participate in this competition. You need to verify your school enrollment in one of the following ways when you're submitting your application, either by using a school email address, but if you don't have one, that's fine with us. As long as you upload your most recent school transcript or letter by your school, which is just written by an admin of the school and signed and stamped by the school, verifying that you are indeed enrolled in that high school. This is all you need to do as you apply for the competition, as you apply and submit your article for the competition. After the application submission, what happens is you get a confirmation email. And this confirmation email will provide you with your automatically generated code. We call this a candidate code. The reason for that is because the jury that are going to receive your article obviously will not know who you are. If your submission is selected for the final evaluation stage, we may require further documentation on your end. So you should expect to receive an email from us from ftcompetition@crimsonglobalfoundation.org. In terms of the phases of evaluation, we're going to use a panel of seasoned educators, journalists, and academic experts to populate the jury. Specifically, we'll have 3 evaluation phases. The first one, all the articles will be evaluated by pertinent educators according to the criteria, and these educators are going to come up with an initial shortlist, the top 10% of the essays. Then these articles are going to be examined by a committee of academic experts who will reevaluate them based on the same assessment criteria for a second shortlist of the top 10 finalist articles. And finally, in phase 3, these top 10 articles will be reviewed by a committee comprising of Financial Times journalists, led by Andrew Jack, who's here with us on this webinar, who will choose the top 3 articles. And of course, as long as the top article meets their criteria, the one to get published on the website. And just a little bit on the criteria for success. There is 4 criteria that our educators, the academic experts, and the Financial Times Committee at the end will be looking at to evaluate all articles. And these criteria involve whether you apply innovation and whether you're creative in the top, not just the topic that you've tackled, but also, are you talking about a problem? Are you coming up with a solution to that problem? So creativity is not just about what you write, but also what you suggest. And then, of course, we move into criterion B, which is the argument and the analysis. How rigorous is your argument? How comprehensive is your analysis of the examined issue? Are you examining an issue at depth, or are you examining an issue on the surface level? And of course, in order to have a proper argument, you need to conduct some research. Here, we're not looking, and we want to emphasize that, we're not looking for an academic essay. We don't want you to have 20 or 30 references at the end. We want you to have, similar to the FT articles, we want you to have information included that is backed by relevant, some relevant research, or backed by other articles that have done their own research. So we want you to fact check yourselves and to produce content that is reliable. So that's criterion C. What's the accuracy, the relevance, and the rigor of your underlying research, as most, or I would say all, FT articles. And finally, criterion D is about communication, because you may have the best content, but if you don't communicate it with clarity of writing, with a sharpness, if you'd like the Financial Times articles, then your article is not going to be communicated well to your readers, and that's what really matters. So how do your readers receive your article? And that's why I would engage all of you, and I would encourage all of you to share your article with your friends, with your family, and ask for their opinion. What do they think? Does it seem like too inaccessible for them? Is there too much technical jargon? We want things to be kept simple, but at the same time, we want things to be backed by evidence and sophisticated. So I would say that a fine balance between the two would be the key for success here. I would say talk to your school community about this. If you want more information, email us. We can also provide you with flyers to share but get excited. This is quite big, and it's an opportunity to think critically about what's happening around you. So I would say it's an awesome opportunity, and even if you don't get distinguished, the effort and the process that you will go through will be fundamental, and it's something that you can still talk about in your college application essays, because sometimes the process is even more important than the result, right? And the reflections that you get, and the opportunities and the knowledge that you gain going through something can sometimes be even more valuable. They do say that the journey is sometimes even more important than the destination, right? So make sure you enjoy the journey, and you'll hear from us very, very soon. Thank you so much, and thank you to Adriu from the Financial Times.